So hello and welcome to the 19th episode of the Boar Hat Tavern Podcast, a podcast all about Seven Deadly Sins Grand Cross. I'm your host, Daz, and I'm joined today, as always, by the co-host of the podcast, Sandyy and Novage. Today, we've got a little news, JP, a little news in the form of a guy called Ban, Purgatory Ban in particular, who just launched over there as the second anniversary unit, and he's bringing with him a lot of hype. So we're definitely going to be talking about that probably for most of the show. But not only that, we've also got on Global coming at the reset at the end of the week, a new guild boss, season 4 guild boss Belgius. And we all know that Sandy likes to thrash around guild bosses. So we're definitely going to be talking about that a little bit because I, for one, have no idea how to handle this new guild boss, but I know Sandy does, so we'll be picking her brain. At the end of the show, we're going to be doing Whose Sound Is It Anyways, which is one of our more popular game segments where we play some audio clips from the game, and Sandyy and Novage are going to battle to see who can identify more of those clips, which character they're attached to. But before we get into the show, Sandy, are we going to get some more content? Now that a new guild boss is coming, I feel like you got no excuse to avoid YouTube anymore.
No excuse. I will be staying up late. I'm really excited. Season 4 Guild Boss and Belgius. I mean, there's some videos already from the JP side that, that's before the level 90 announcement. So I'm excited to see what type of kind of comps that the content creators will put out there, myself included. And yeah, I'm just kind of buying a different merch. Got some Nezuko cosplay to match my little profile picture. But yeah, I'm going to be making videos again. One coming soon because, everybody's going to want to see how we can beat this annoying new boss.
And Novage, you're looking a little red there, bud. Do you have a little bit of a sunburn or a little heat stroke? What's going on?
Yeah, no. So I was outdoors for, I would say the last week, and it's been getting really hot. It was in triple digits, so it was not fun. I mean, even getting out of your car to go do an errand, and if you're away for 20, 30 minutes, coming back, it's just it's already hot in your car again. And, staying indoors is probably best, but it's not fun. I'm not looking forward to the summer.
Yeah, me neither. When you say triple digits, it throws me off a little bit because triple digits in Celsius is boiling, right? So, but in Fahrenheit, it's obviously hot, but still, I got to do the mental math in that. I guess having body temperature be close to 100 makes it a little bit easier to kind of do the mental math in my head. But anyhow, let's get on to the show because I really, really can't wait for Purgatory Ban, so I really want to talk to him. Well, I mean, it would be cool talking to him. I want to talk about him, though. So just to give everyone a bit of a recap of what's going on, Purgatory Ban, he's a festival banner for the second anniversary on JP. So he's roughly 3 weeks away. I believe next week we're probably going to be getting Arthur, or unless there's a weird teaser thing that's getting announced today. So who knows if that's going to kind of put a wrench in things. But then after that, a couple weeks after that, we're likely going to get Festival Ban, or the second anniversary festival, or the equivalent on Global for that, which is Purgatory Ban and a whole bunch of other fantastic units. If there's a banner you want to save up for, this is the one. This is the one that you want to blow all your gems on. It's on JP. The first anniversary was Goddess Liz, and just to give you a little context, in JP, what they do is they have a vote for all the player base, and they get to choose the characters that they want on the banner the most, the top 12 or 15 or whatever it is, end up making on the banner, and then if it's the same thing as last time, we'll just kind of get whatever they vote on. Maybe they'll let us vote on our own. Who knows? But we'll probably get similar ones regardless. And the units in their banner are fantastic. It's all the Archangels. You've got Chandler, which I know a lot of people are, probably skipped on Festival Zeldris or didn't get lucky enough to get that non-guaranteed Chandler while chasing him. So Chandler, all the Archangels, MK2 Valenti's there, and I know a lot of people skip that banner as well. Not to mention a lot of great secondary units that a lot of people might be missing too. There's also going to be a second banner on that week too. It's the free banner, quote unquote. We're going to be getting a ton of free multis for it, and it's for all of the holiday units, so your Blue Dairies, and I'm assuming your Halloween units and probably other ones too. So that'll be pretty cool as well. You can actually spend gems on that if you want to, but it's going to be a good week for summoning, and I'm pretty stoked. And not to mention like that, the Festival of Banners 4% rate up. So like you're going to be getting great units. We're not talking trash secondary units for once. And it's been a while since I think we could actually say there's good secondary units on a banner. So Purgatory Ban. I'm going to go over basically what it does because I know a lot of you probably don't know. He is a very interesting character because most of his skills actually scale off of HP. So the higher HP he has, the max HP, not just like a remaining HP, the more damage he does. We're talking like raw numbers. So you like the higher raw value you have of HP, like the more damage you do. So his first skill, he's a red unit. His first skill is an AoE detonate card. So it does bonus damage based on the number of alt orbs the enemy has, but it also, again, scales off his max HP. His second skill is an AoE buff card, which is pretty cool. And we're going to go into like a lot of more detail when he gets released on global. We're just kind of like skimming over the abilities this time around. But his second skill, it's an AoE buff that heals everybody on the team at the beginning of their next turn, as well as giving everybody a buff to their HP. So it makes Bond do more damage. It makes everybody tankier, gives them a heal, which is actually, the heal is kind of equivalent to king heals. So it's not like a small heal too. So you get a lot more tankiness to everybody. And then his alt is an AoE alt, which scales based on max HP again. The thing hits damn hard. The weird thing about his alt, though, is it doesn't just scale with alt level, which all units do. Like the more alt level you have, the more damage it does. But once you hit 6/6 and only 6/6, like this doesn't count for 5/6. If you hit 6/6 with Bond, you also get Rupture on his AoE. So you're basically doing double damage to anyone who's buffed. So that's a big power spike for like the whaley whales out there. So good luck anyone, either if you've got like a billion gems to burn, or maybe you get really lucky and those horseshoes start falling out of somewhere, you'll be lucky enough to get that Bond 6 out of 6. But even without that, he does hit really hard. So Sandy, I know you like your shirtless males from what I hear. So is Bond gonna satiate this hunger for shirtless males in the game?
Yes, I have been waiting for Purgatory Ban. I mean, I think it's a great addition to the game. He, that max HP, no limit basically, can make him hit really, really hard. And I feel like Netmarble is releasing Excalibur Arthur right before Bond because, Arthur, it was made for Bond. So if you want to use Bond, basically you're going to have to pull on Arthur. And I don't know if, if we're going to be lucky enough to pull Arthur, or am I going to be throwing 600 gems and, try to buy all the packages so I can get Bond, because, Bond double dips into Excalibur Arthur's passive, right? He's going to get 30% more HP, which then increases his HP damage scaling. And it does 20% more damage on top of it. So I feel like they're a pair. Kind of wish they were on the same banner, but whatever, Netmarble, you got to make money, right?
Yeah, well, at least Arthur is on a pretty affordable banner. And I say affordable, and that's one of the old school step up ones. So he's guaranteed a 242 gem spend, I believe, is the math when you do a full rotation on those old step up banners. So it's not like you have to spend 600 gems to get Arthur, and then again go in 2 weeks later 900 to get your Bond, right? So that's a nice thing. And one thing I actually totally forgot to mention was his passive too, because his passive makes him even more insane. When you get ultimate move gauge from like moving a card or playing a card or merging cards, Bond actually gets like a gray buff, so you can't remove it and you can't get like stripped off of him or anything like that, which increases his max HP by 8% for 3 turns. It's very similar to Rem, the way that her like stuff stacks, but it's a gray buff in this case. And it also cleanses all stat decreasing debuffs. So it doesn't like cleanse like bleeds and poisons and that kind of thing, but it does like any attack downs or like HP downs or anything like that. It'll get rid of those too. So like talk about like a loaded kit. Anyhow, that is what it is. Novage, is he busted or what?
I tried to pull on him on the JP account because I didn't want to test him out because he like you just said right now, he has such a great kit that the different things that you could use him with in terms of other units or what you want to use him for is like it's interesting. I unfortunately, like you just said, I was glad that the banner for Arthur was such a small one, because then I still had some gems left over to pull for Bond, but unfortunately didn't get him. But the other units that were on the banner, I haven't been playing very long on JP, but I got the one, I got Boss Bane, and so I was like, okay, I didn't get Bond, but I got these other units that I've been hoping at least to get, to kind of just continue building my box on JP. But from the other videos I've seen so far of just different people pairing Bond, I mean, it's always Arthur and Bond, but then you could throw in, like, I think someone used Deldry, you'd use, the red Dreyfus to just boost up his defense. And it's just the mix of different units that they're throwing out there. It's just, there's fun concepts. I wouldn't say they're like top meta, but it is interesting. And, if you come across a team like that, you'll probably be thrown off a little bit. I'm not sure exactly what they're trying to do. But it adds more fun back to PvP.
Yeah, it's really neat too, because most of the times when we have these comps that are restricted, right? Because Arthur has to have all humans on his team in order for his passive to do his thing. Normally we have this kind of thing. It's like, okay, you have to be all demons, or like, you have to have a certain amount of commandments or whatever to, like for Res Eldris' thing to do it, or like you just buff angels, right? But this case, we're talking humans, and there's so many humans in the game. They're the most popular, or populous, I guess, race. So there are so many options, and it's cool. I even saw like Zenari come out, like Zenari in PvP, really? Like units you just never would think about. I think Nagato even tried like a Red Easton comp too for the cleanse. It's just so interesting to me, exactly how many different combinations you could potentially come up with. And I think, and like you said, it's not like they're meta comps necessarily, but they definitely can be a lot of fun. But we do have some popular units that I think you'll see the most of the time to go along with Arthur and Bond. And it's probably not your Deldrys, and it's probably not your Zenaris. It's probably going to be your Twigos and your Griamores, things that increase HP of Bond, because if you increase the HP of all the units, it just makes everybody tankier, and then your Bond can do like ridiculous damage on his cleave card. So a lot, like you'll probably have one of those two in the sub, either Twigo or Griamore, and you might even have Griamore say up front. I'm not sure if you'd have Twigo up front necessarily, but yeah, this is definitely some interesting combinations. So I can't wait to see what kind of shakes out in terms of the top team for Bond in PvP. There's some different comps people are kind of teasing too. I don't know, like Sandy, have you seen any of those that people are making fun of too? Like I know like content creators are almost always like jabbing at this one specific comp. You know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's that common team of Bond with Gother and Liz teams, and it's not very good outside of the Bond ult, because Bond needs those support units that, is going to boost his HP for that damage output. But no shame on them. It's probably just news because of people's like unit availability, because, you've got your Gothers leveled up, you've got your Liz's leveled up, but outside of that, I mean, Bond needs Tweegod there. Bond needs somebody to up that HP. And, a lot of people are eating HP food. And if you don't have something else stacking on top of that HP food, he's pretty he's just not there. You need the Arthur. That's their duo. And then you need your support units. But that's pretty funny. I don't think I'd been using that comp, whoever did it.
Bond Glue Eater is not going to be a thing, I guess.
No.
Yeah. So Bond, like if you watch videos, and like the thing about watching content creators and they post their like, showcases and stuff, usually like they put like a thumbnail, like clickbaity, like, oh, the most broken character in the game, like undefeatable, like that kind of thing. Invincible Bond. But turns out like that's not the case. We're not going to have a character that's just, well, he is broken, but he's not to the point where you can't beat him. Obviously, there's always the mirror matchup, and generally what probably happen there is a rush to get to your ultimate. But beyond that, there are some solid counter teams too. Novage, do you have any counter teams in mind, or have you seen what anyone's been using over in JP?
Yeah, one of the popular ones is, I mean, it's going to be dependent on, I mean, if you go first, you could use Amelia to freeze lock, or another option, which I'd probably go, I just need to work on my Ludo a little bit, is Ludo and use T1 for the type advantage. You know, just if you have investments in Ludo, you definitely, I mean, I think the latest release with level 90, I know Ludo might not be on the top ones up there, but he's still a contender because of all the investments people have put in him. He's almost one of the ones you probably, if you use him, you probably have him pretty close to maxed out on his gear and cosmetics.
Yeah, but T1, I mean, Bond has pretty high crit resistance, right? So he can actually pretty much tank against T1 if you build him correctly. And again, that's why the HP food, and that's why, you know, the support units. And especially if he has the buffs up. I'm just wondering, I mean, undead Bond, like it's Bond, he can't die. So it kind of makes sense they built him like this.
Yeah, that's why you'd have to pretty much use Ludo with T1 or T1. If T1 doesn't crit, you're not killing Bond, especially if Bond has had a couple turns to get those buffs up. So yeah, it's not, you can't just do the slappy with T1, just killy like you know, you can against everybody else, because I think his crit resistance is somewhere like around 100. It might be 100 even, or maybe it's even higher, but you're not critting against that unless you have some extra way to do that, and Ludo is probably the only solution to that. One of the nice things though is that most of these Bond teams will be running HP food. I think Novage mentioned that too. So it's more likely that you're going to be able to go first. Another reason you're probably also going to be able to go first is because of the way that Bond's damage ability, well, like all of his abilities work, is they scale off HP. So you're going to be running an HP def set on him, but you don't necessarily have to roll attack rolls. If you roll crit chance and crit damage, you're actually going to increase his damage up, because attack stat does absolutely nothing. Like Bond could have 0 attack. I mean, maybe I'm wrong on that, but maybe not 0 attack. But either way, like even if he had no attack, he'd do the same amount of damage because it all scales based off of his HP, and that's the multiplier in the damage formula. So you're going to be losing a lot of CC there, not having those attack rolls. Same problem that Pierce comps have. So even if he does eat HP or CC food, yeah, those Ludos, even if they're not 6/6, might be seeing the guy. So there is always light and hope at the end of the tunnel for those that are worried this is going to be the end of the world. Yeah, is there anything? I mean, I think we've pretty much covered most things we can about Bond. Is there any other things you guys want to bring up before we move along to Sandy's guild boss? Sandy?
He has some cool cosmetics though.
Oh. Yeah, his character design is pretty nuts. I like he's got like this like red like burning glow around him, which is really cool. And one thing I'll definitely give Netmarble is that they're very good at like character design and like just working on their models and making it like look really cool. Like one thing that I can't believe they do so well is make a 3D game, but it looks like anime. Like that I imagine is a very tough technical obstacle to overcome, because most 3D games, like, you know, they're a little blocky, or like, you know, they don't look like the anime as well as they could. So I'm actually pretty impressed they've been able to do that in the 3D space.
I'm excited. I just hope they have you know, more I was gonna say bare chested cosmetics. But I'm excited to get him. He's definitely a banner I'm saving up for.
The one big disappointment I have is that you need 6/6 to get that rupture. But like I'm not gonna lose any sleep. I'm sure, like, you know, if you play this long enough, you'll eventually get him 6/6. May take you a few festival banners. But yeah, still, like, yeah, I'm just hoping to get maybe like, you know, 2/6 of them lucky or something with the 900 rotation. I'd be happy with that. Sandy, there is that new guild boss that you're my source of information for all this stuff. I don't know how to do this new guild boss. Can you tell us what's going on with him? Like why he's, you know, such a complicated one to deal with? Why we can't use Derriere for once? What's going on here?
Yeah, I know. I'm very excited. It's going to be something different for the global content creators. And it's coming very soon. T-minus 2 days? And seems like he is the most annoying guild boss. Not to say that the others aren't, because God bless, I hate Einik. I hate critting. But from the videos that I've kind of seen so far, he's not very free to play friendly in terms of like the certain units that you have to have in your box, you know, because you can't use humans, which we just said is the populace of the box right now. You know, you can't use demons or angels and goddesses because he does 800% more damage. So Dairy Queen, bye, you know. He stops buffing, and then on top of stopping your buffs, does 10 times more damage to buffed characters. So he's just kind of like a stall for all of the strats that we've already invested in, especially for, you know, guild boss focused people or guilds even. But the units that you have to play with, or you do get to play with, this is the fun and creative part, right? It's like you can use giants or fairies, you know, unknowns, which are your ReZero characters that came out recently. Baby Merlin, you know, Gother, broken, but he see how he's just useful for everything. Like you take away Dairy Queen, but you still use that green Halloween Gother that a lot of free to play players might not have. Yeah, I'll go into not really into the specifics of like strategy. You'll have to keep an eye out for my video. But I can tell you guys some of the common comps that have been used. And mind you, from JP, they are before the level 90s. So I'm excited to see what is the ceiling cap for points, you know, on global when we do get it this week. But one of the common comps that were used is Hawk. They're saying that Hawk is really OP for Belgius, but it seems like he's only useful when his buff is active, right? Well, it's like the 50% to basic stats. So I don't know, Netmarble, like I think they're smarter not to let it fall onto a week where it's qualifying week. But so it's Hawk, Baby Merlin, Blue King, and Green Gother. And that's just basically you're killing off the arms, I believe the left arm first, then the right arm, and then you'll go for Belgius. And now the second comp that people have been using is, of course, your Giants comp. Kind of little mix here and there, but basically red Wedding Deanne, which I don't have, by the way, blue Matrona, green Droll with Gearhart or green Merlin. So that's kind of like your alt rushing. That can net you, honestly, on extreme a score of maybe 4,400 to 4,700. And that was pre level 90. Okay. This is just all survey. But then you go into the unknown one. What I was just talking about is your ReZero comp. So, you know, you've got Ram, Beatrice, and, you know, that's why people are saying Beatrice with that heal, you're going to be able to survive, stall your team a little bit longer. Amelia with Baby Merlin or Green Merlin all works. And that almost the same score. It seems like maybe the Giants team is netting maybe 200 points more, but the unknown race ReZero team with Baby Merlin score 4,400 to 4,500 pre-90 cap on extreme. Now, letting you know that the mission points are actually very, very important for this boss. You know how every week we get like certain missions like kill by turn 6 or do X amount of damage. Some of those mission points can net you over 1,000 points. So just pay very, very careful attention. And I guess that's why there's so many different comps, because it's like, what if this week you get an extra 200 points for using a giant on your team or killing with an unknown character? So I think that's where you kind of have to play it by ear week to week. And then main thing is that, hey, you're not stalling to get buffs on Derry, right? So you want to finish him off turn 5 or 6. But we'll see. You know, I'm excited to put out the video because I haven't done one in so long. But yeah, he seems like a challenge. I don't think that he's broken. I think that he's so new because, right, Daz, he hasn't come back since they launched him in JP.
I've got some questions. I know I'm not sure necessarily how many of them you're going to be able to answer yet, not having been able to go at them. But is this boss going to be like, are we looking at like great damage like we do with, your Darius or even some of the other bosses? Is it more about like HP and just like building out your gear really well? I mean, obviously, like one thing I didn't know was the mission points are gonna be so important, but obviously they are if you give you 1,000 extra. When you're talking about 4,000, like 25% of your score right there. But is this like a very like build up HP sets for the characters you need to use type deal, or am I looking at like characters with high ult levels to do like big daddy damage to the boss at some point?
I think it's a little bit of both, but the boss seems like he's scaling off of HP because based on the comps that you're seeing, it's not the ult that really matters at the end. It's not great damage. It's going to be, you need healers on the team. You're basically stalling the damage output on the field. You want to take the least amount of damage possible. And I think that's what this boss is going for. I mean, we'll know soon enough, what that scaling is and what points it can net you. Because I know we all have a rolling sheet of like X amount of HP equals X amount of points. So get it here.
I got follow-up question number 2, and hopefully this one won't be too difficult too. Like you said, Red Wedding Deanne, but like obviously she's not a very accessible unit. Are there other giants we could use in her place maybe that people might actually have? Because I suspect like less than half the player base probably has Red Wedding Deanne.
Yeah, and that's myself included. Thank you for that, Daz. You can actually use Blue Deanne. And again, going back to HP, I mean, Blue Deanne can attack seal. So, that's minimizing the damage output. She has the AoE and she gets stronger the longer she's on the field. So yeah, you can replace Red Wedding Deanne with Blue Deanne. That's probably what I'm going to do because I don't have Red Wedding Deanne.
Yeah, Novage, you still awake there, bud? He's like, Guild Boss are going to zone out.
I was just thinking in my head, it's like, how would I attempt this? I mean, because I've seen so many videos, like 2 months ago, a month ago, whenever, when they released this on JP. And like you guys have been saying, like, yes, there's been Red Deanne that were popular. There was Blue Deannes I've seen a Blue King Hellbrum, Blue Deanne, Green Merlin comp. People were using Camilla as well, Camilla, Merlin, and like some other units. And it was interesting because a lot of them were very close in scoring. So it's like, it's almost like you don't necessarily have to have these exact characters because they were all within like an extreme. You're like talking, 100, 200, 300 off of each other as their final score. And it really, like what Sandy was saying, is coming down to your missions. If you would have got that extra mission point and got all of them, you could have got 1,000 instead of like 800. And it probably was, because you used a certain unit or you killed with a certain unit. On hard, I know Sandy was talking about extreme right now, but on hard, I mean, again, it changes so many different variations. People using alt food, attack food, HP food. I mean, again, I haven't seen the like meta for this guy on any of the 3 difficulties just yet. And it's kind of fun because then it gives everyone some something to look forward to and trying to, content creators are able to kind of take stabs at it, especially with new level cap, different stats now for the characters that have changed things. So you never know.
So I guess when I saw that, like I looked at you on the screen. For those you can't see, I saw this like glazed look. I assumed like you just like zoned out, but turns out you're just like extraordinarily deep in thought about it. But yeah, like I think one of the big frustrating things potentially is like, okay, we've got 1 week to play with the guild boss, and then you've got qualification week for Guild Wars, and Guild Wars keeps opening up to more and more guilds. So like more and more people are going to be pushing hard during push week. If you're like, okay, I got my team set, I'm doing good, and they change the missions on you for the second week for push week, you're like, oh crap, now I gotta like go back, rethink, and like reinvest in something new. I thought I had it all figured out, but turns out I don't have the optimal comp anymore. I think that's going to be very frustrating for some people. So if you are one of those that's going to be pushing, I think maybe like, yeah, play around with the guild boss on pre-push week, but then maybe wait to see those missions is kind of what I'm taking away from what Sandy and Novage are telling me.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm gonna play around with it, and hopefully, myself and the other content creators can find something that's, worth everybody's time of saying like, hey, get them to level 90, super awaken them, put this gear on them, and then have it, like you said, just not work out. Or like, hey, here's the new meta. Guess what? You're gonna have to use Benamaru or something.
You just said like 10 words that scared me. Like super awaken, level 90. I'm like, oh my gosh. It's like, there goes my weekend. But yeah, just grinding is going to be fun. Is there anything else we should know for Guild Boss before we move along, Sandy? Or
no, just start taking a look at all your unknown units, fairies, work with what you've got. I wouldn't say that the content creators, everything that we put out is, the Bible. Don't take that as a Bible. A lot of times it is what kind of resources you have. Everybody's box is different. And if you can manipulate certain things, like for example, a character in here being able to attack disable, and if you don't have that specific character, who else in that format can you utilize, so don't think that, again, I go back to, it's not very free to play friendly, but I might be wrong. I'll try to find a comp for free to play friendly. That's not going to be, high scoring, but at least you can get your, mission rewards, from the guild boss.
Cool. Looking forward to it. I'm also looking forward to our featured comment for the week. Sandy, you want to run us through that?
Yes, I love doing this part. So every week, of course, as you guys know, we feature a comment wherever you leave those comments for us, whether that be on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Discord. Just leave it anywhere. We will give you a shout out. And this week it goes on YouTube. One of our other loyal subscribers is Carnage Magneto. And Carnage Magneto said, 18 and going strong. Idea for show number 20. Can you all share some of your best moments from either the game or the current anime up until the current season? What you like best about this game, or just 7DS overall? That is a filled question. I love it. We're on episode 19 today. I can't believe episode 20 next week, Daz. Do you think we should do something celebratory?
Well, that smells like a good idea for smells. I don't know why I said smells, but it looks like a good idea for a top 10 list. I'll give Carnage that, and I think that's definitely something we're going to be we'll be running with. But other than that, ideas. Oh, geez, I guess it's a milestone week. I guess we got to come up with something. We'll definitely do something fun.
Perfect. And is it time for me to win at game time?
I guess so. I was waiting for maybe Novage to say something about the comment, but we can definitely roll right into the game. So the game that we're going to be playing today, I mentioned off the top of the show, is called Whose Sound Is It Anyways? And the way that this game is played is I will play a sound from the game, and Sandy and Novage have to buzz in and try and guess which character it is and which character's skill. Historically we've asked what skill names are, but I've learned, this is the fourth time we've done this, that like you guys have no idea what the skill names are. So we'll just, if you happen to know it, say it, but I won't like prompt you for it because I'll just assume that we don't know. If you are, crazy and you happen to know these kinds of things, like feel free to spam it in chat or like in the comments and tell us you actually know all this stuff. That's pretty cool. Good on you. But we're a little too old for that. Our brains are a little too Swiss cheesy for this kind of stuff. So without further ado, I've actually themed this week's game, and it's Bon's home cooking. I figured, I got Festival of Bon coming up soon. So I've split into three categories. The first one is and I'm not really gonna tell you why these are. Maybe like part of the fun will be trying to figure out why I'm calling these categories. The first few will be lighting up the barbecue. Okay, and the first one is coming right now. Yeah. Hey, Sandy, I saw that hand up.
It's Kyo?
That sure is Kyo. It's a single target attack move, and I will not be able to pronounce it. I looked at it and I was like, nope, I'll just call it a single target attack move. Kyo, lighten up the barbecue. I have a pen to write stuff down, so the mental note. Sandy's up 1. Okay, next one. Oh, some of these we might have actually done before, but hey, hard to keep track of my age. Here we go. Next one. Here it is. Sandy wants to sweep it. What is it?
That is Monspeak.
Sure is. You've been studying. I think you've been either that or you're cheating. I don't know. That's amazing. You've gotten to so fast too. Usually these are like way too difficult, but apparently today they're not too bad. Okay. Third one. Here we go.
Lightning.
Oh, Novage got to that one first. What do you think, Novage?
Kill Thunder?
Sure is. This is Lightning Strike. Rupture card. Light up the barbecue. Those are all abilities that would probably be able to light up the barbecue. Flames from Kyo or Monspeed or lightning from Gil Thunder. That's how they all tie together, for those of you who can figure that out yet. Next category is called Double Date. You know, home cooking double date. Let's start with the first one. Here we go. Might be a bit tougher one. I think these guys. Oh, Sandy's got her hand up. What is it, Sandy?
Is that Green Kings?
No, it's not Green Kings. Oh, Novage.
Trying to figure out the theme, how it plays. I'm not sure if it's a combo attack, but it kind of sounds like Meliodas. Is it? I would say blue Demon Meliodas.
It sure is. It's his cleave card. Meliodas. How can this work into a double date situation? I don't know. I guess we'll have to find out by continuing with the next one. This might be the toughest one of the bunch. I self-identified this next one as a hard one, so we'll see how you guys do. Actually, you know what? I'll make that the third one because maybe then like you'll see the theme and it'll help you out. So we'll do the next one. Will be this one instead.
Lightning.
Oh, sorry. I ended up playing the Gil Thunder one afterward then. So which one was that? Novage. I think Novage has his hand up first. I think it was Novage. Yeah.
Is that a green Elizabeth?
Oh, it sure is. You guys are getting good. I remember the first time we did this, it's like just crickets. Every time I play it now, you guys are on it. You really are. I've lost track of the score. Is it 2-all? No, 3-2? It's got to be 3-2 for somebody.
No, it's tied.
We've done 5.
Oh, I can't do math.
1, 2, 3. I think it's 3-2 for Novage now. Yeah, because you got last 2. You got last 3. Yeah, so 3-2 for Novage. Okay. I'm probably totally wrong, but who knows? We'll go with that. Last one in double date. Here we go. Oh, Novage. Sandy, you're starting out strong. Now you're letting Novage run away with it. That's as if he gets this one right.
Is that one of the small Deans? The green or green Dean?
Nope. Sandy, you gonna steal this one back and tie it up? Double date.
Double date.
We've had Meliodas and Elaine so far. Or sorry, Elizabeth.
I was gonna say Elaine. Did you give it to me? I get it by default.
Crap. Well, I like to think that you were gonna say it anyways. How about this? You have to tell us which color. Because
I think it's the red Elaine.
Oh, it's the green one.
Oh.
I was like throwing you a bone, Sandy. You didn't grab it. We'll give you a half point. I'll make it so there's no tiebreakers possible. So 3 to 2.5. That was Green Elaine's AoE card. Double date. Bon and Elaine, Elizabeth, and Meliodas. Okay, next one. This is kind of a fun one. This is the ultimates. So there'll be a little bit longer audio clips. And the category is pork chops aplenty. So we'll do the first one here. Here we go. Okay, Novage. I thought Sandy was going to put her hand up first, but she went to like the glasses. I'm not sure if you were like, then you went, oh, but Novage got his hand all the way up first. So we're going to go with Novage in this one. Who is this?
Is that a red Liz? Liz Hawk?
No, Sandy. You look like you know who it is. Who's that?
It's a blue Liz Hawk.
No, it's not Blue Liz Hawk. Oh, what? You guys both got it wrong. The correct response was Green Hawk. Yeah, you heard Hawk in there.
Hawk.
Just the regular Hawk. Yeah. Hawk is called
I was afraid that was going to be that one.
Hectic Blow is what the name of that one is. We're going to go on to the next one. Pork chops aplenty. That's going to be one of the funnier audio clips to listen to without actually seeing what's going on. Sandy, you got your hand up there first. What's this
I'm
one?
going to say it's Hawk and Oslo.
Sure is. Pull ahead into the lead, 3.5-3. That means this last one is going to decide it. Pork chops aplenty. Here we go. Oh, Sandy got her hand up first.
That one has to be the blue Liz Hawk now, right?
I think so. Yeah, it's Liz Hawk. I clipped it from the red one, but I'm pretty sure blue and red have the same ultimate. So yeah,
Okay.
That's for the clinch, for the win. Didn't even need that half point, Sandy. You got it. I can't believe I gave it away because I switched the order. I looked at him like, okay, you already got Elaine and Belgius. I'm like, oh no, I'm such an idiot. But hey,
I was going to say it. I mean, given the wrong color, Elaine, but
yeah. So in case you didn't catch the theme with pork chops plenty, each one was a hawk related ultimate. So, and that's a great place to end off this show. I am hungry now. I want to go make some pork chops for dinner. Actually, I am having ribs, so I guess it is kind of appropriate. But thanks everybody for joining us today on the Boar Hat Tavern, a Severely Deadly Sins Grand Cross podcast. We do stream this show live on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Boar Hat Tavern every week. And I was going to say the time, but you know what? The time's been so erratic recently. It's kind of hard to say, but generally it's going to be Tuesdays at 4 o'clock Pacific time. 4 o'clock Eastern time, 1 p.m. Pacific is the time that we're going to be shooting for. We had a little bit of a conflict this week, so we had to reschedule for Thursday, but that is the usual time. Sandy, we know you're going to be doing YouTube videos again, so where can people find them once they come out?
yes, they're going to come out this Sunday because I got to get one out. YouTube.com/Sandy with a double Y 7DS.
And if you'd like to get in touch with us, you can email us anytime at podcast@boarhattavern.com, or you can follow us on Instagram or Twitter at Boar Hat Tavern. All three of us are members of the Global Guild Denied. It's part of the Scoundrels Alliance. If you'd like to join our ranks, reach out to us on Instagram, Twitter, send us an email, join our Discord, do whatever you want. And you can get in touch with us. We have 5 guilds in our alliance too, 3 competitive, 2 casual. You can also subscribe to our podcast, the one you're listening to today, on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, or wherever you happen to find your podcasts online. You can also find our shows on our website at boarhattavern.com. I'm so sorry, Sandy. I need to work on that. Maybe that'll be the big surprise for the 20th episode. The website will actually be done. There should be an over-under bet on how long it's going to take us to actually finish that one. Anyways, we'd like to thank Madeline Marois for crafting our killer logo, Streetwise Rhapsody from YouTube for composing our awesome cover of the Grand Cross theme song that we use for our intro, and Andre Bobe from ArtStation for letting us use his outstanding 3D renders of the Boar Hat Tavern for our pre-live and post-video splash screens. You can find all of their work in their descriptions below, or wherever you're listening to this, in the descriptions wherever you see this. Everybody, thanks for listening. Have a great week.
Bye.